Numbers chapter 15, verse 1. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Give the following instructions to the people of Israel when you finally settled in the land I'm giving you." Verse 3. You offer special gift as pleasing aroma to the Lord. This gift may take the form of a burnt offering, a sacrifice to fulfill a vow, a voluntary offering, or an offering at any of your annual festivals, and they may be taken from your herds of cattle or your flocks of sheep and goats. Verse 4. When you present these offerings, you must also give the Lord a grain offering of 2 quarts of choice flour mixed with 1 quart of olive oil. Verse 5. For each lamb offered as a burnt offering or a special sacrifice, you must also present 1 quart of wine as a liquid offering. Verse 6. If the sacrifice is a ram, give a grain offering of 4 quarts of choice flour mixed with 1/3 of a gallon of olive oil. Verse 7. And give 1/3 of a gallon of wine as liquid offering. This will be a pleasing aroma to the Lord. Verse 8. When you present a young bull as a burnt offering, or as a sacrifice to fulfill a vow, or as a peace offering to the Lord. Verse 9. You must also give a grain offering of 6 quarts of choice flour mixed with 2 quarts of olive oil. Verse 10. And give 2 quarts of wine as liquid offering. This will be a special gift, a pleasing aroma to the Lord. Verse 11. Each sacrifice of a bull, ram, lamb, or young goat should be prepared in this way. Verse 12. Follow these instructions with each offering you present. Verse 13. All of you native-born Israelites must follow these instructions when you offer a special gift as a pleasing aroma to the Lord. Verse 14. And if any foreigners visit you or live among you, and you want to present a special gift as a pleasing aroma to the Lord, they must follow these same procedures. Verse 15. Native-born Israelites and foreigners are equal before the Lord and are subject to the same decrees. This is a permanent law for you, to be observed from generation to generation. Verse 16. The same instructions and regulation will apply both to you and to the foreigners living among you. Verse 17. Then the Lord said to Moses. Verse 18. Give the following instructions to the people of Israel when you arrive in the land where I am taking you. Verse 19. And you eat the crops that grows there, you must set some aside as a sacred offering to the Lord. Verse 20. Present a cake from the first of the flour you grind and set it aside as a sacred offering, as you do with the first grain from the threshing floor. Verse 21. Throughout the generation to come, you are to present a sacred offering to the Lord each year from the first of your ground flour. Verse 22. But suppose you unintentionally fail to carry out all these commands that the Lord has given you through Moses. Verse 23. And suppose your descendants in the future fail to do everything the Lord has commanded through Moses. Verse 24. If the mistake was made unintentionally and the community was unaware of it, the whole community must present a young bull for a burnt offering as pleasing aroma to the Lord. It must be offered along with its prescribed grain offering and liquid offering, with 1 male goat for a sin offering. Verse 25. With it, the priest will purify the whole community of Israel, making them right with the Lord, and they will be forgiven. For it was an unintentional sin, and they have corrected it with their offerings to the Lord, the special gift and the sin offering. Verse 26. The whole community of Israel will be forgiven, including foreigners living among you, for all the people were involved in the sin. Verse 27. If one individual commits an unintentional sin, the guilty person must bring a 1-year-old female goat for a sin offering. Verse 28. The priest will sacrifice it to purify the guilty person before the Lord, and that person will be forgiven. Verse 29. These same instructions apply both to native-born Israelites and to the foreigners living among you. Verse 30. But those who brazenly violate the Lord's will, whether native-born Israelites or foreigners, have blasphemed the Lord, and they must be cut off from the community. Verse 31. Since they have treated the Lord's word with contempt and deliberately disobeyed his command, they must be completely cut off and suffer the punishment for their guilt. Verse 32. One day, while the people of Israel were in the wilderness, they discovered a man gathering wood on the Sabbath day. Verse 33. The people who found him doing this work took him before Moses, Aaron, and the rest of the community. Verse 34. They held him in custody because they did not know what to do with him. Verse 35. Then the Lord said to Moses, the man must be put to death. The whole community must stone him outside the camp. Verse 36. So the whole community took the man outside the camp and stoned him to death, just as the Lord had commanded Moses. Verse 37. Then the Lord said to Moses, verse 38, give the following instructions to the people of Israel. Throughout the generation to come, you must make tassels for the hems of your clothing and attach them with a blue cord. Verse 39. When you see the tassels, you will remember and obey all the commands of the Lord instead of following your own desires and defying yourselves as you are prone to do. Verse 40. The tassels will help you remember that you must obey all my commands and be holy to your God. Verse 41. I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, that I might be your God. I am the Lord your God. Amen.